Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. And now, celebrating 15 years of broadcasting, here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
And welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again, whether tuning in on the radio dial here in Mississippi at WYAD 94.1 FM or to WYADonline.com. We're glad that you all could join us. Also, those tuning in to our online affiliates around the world, we're glad that you all could join us as well. We're excited to welcome actor Evan Daigle to our program today. Evan is celebrating another great year in 2019, not only with the success of his show Claws, but also showing by example what it's like for him to have a goal and dream for himself, and then, of course, to see those goals and dreams realized. We'll talk to Evan about the journey, what it's been like for him to see the way that people have been receiving Claws, as well as let you guys know how to stay connected with him. Evan, hello to you, and welcome to the program.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Hey, glad to do it, Evan. So let's start off by talking about this experience, right? I mean, I thought it was so interesting when I was prepping for this segment. I mean, I mentioned to you before we began here that I'm also from the South. I know that you're from the South. What has it been like for you to kind of reflect on all you've achieved so far?
It's honestly been crazy. I grew up in South Louisiana in a town called Lafayette, Louisiana, and I had always been like a very artistic, an artistic child, and I had always in my mind been interested in theater, but I just was never exposed to it growing up. I had no idea. Like, it didn't really even become clear to me until probably, like, my early teenage years that the people that we see in films and television, that is their career. That's a job to be attained and something to work towards. Right. And so I really, just growing up in the South, focused on sports and fishing and hanging out with my friends and doing a lot of the stereotypical stuff that Southern kids do. And it was fun. I had a great time growing up in Louisiana. But as far as my artistic ambition was concerned, I was sort of unfocused. I didn't really know where to put this desire that I had to be an artist and to be an actor. And until I actually moved away from Louisiana after graduating high school, whenever I was 19, I moved to Southern California to study fine art at a small art school for 2 semesters. And then I realized that I was really, really, really missing the acting. I really wanted to try to get into an acting program somewhere. And so I transferred schools back to Louisiana to New Orleans to start studying acting at Loyola University in New Orleans, and completely fell in love with it. And there's sort of a budgeting low, like an up-and-coming film and TV scene in Louisiana. So I was actually able to get a little agent out of New Orleans and start auditioning and studying in there. And ever since then, I was auditioning for 2 years in New Orleans, and then I booked Claws, and it's been all Claws all the time for the past 3 years.
Right. You know, I read a great interview that you gave back in 2017, Evan, and I kind of used it when I was prepping for this segment, because one thing that you said in that interview that struck me was, you know, you went into this audition thinking it was going to be a single scene. I mean, I think what was so interesting about that when I read it was, like, we never know, right? We never know where our path is going to lead us. I guess my question to you would be, what gave you the courage to even try? Because you know, just like I know, Evan, a lot of times what keeps people away from their own greatness is giving it a try because they don't know what's going to happen. What made you say, you know what, I'm going to go for this?
That's a really good question, and that's definitely something that I struggled with for a while. It was the most terrifying thing in my life to admit to myself that I wanted to pursue acting as a career, because that was just so incredibly scary to me because of just all of the preconceived notions that I had about what it meant to be an actor and how hard it was and this, that, or the other. And I sort of remember the week in college that I was doing a play for school. It was the second play that I had done for my university, and we had just gone up. It was opening week, and I was the lead of the play, and I had this feeling after one of our shows that it's really hard to explain in words, but I sort of liken it to sort of a spiritual experience. I just had this overwhelming feeling of this is exactly what I'm supposed to do with my life. And
Right.
trying to do anything else would be deviant to my destiny. I felt like I was just meant to act. But that alone, that feeling alone, scared the crap out of me. Just because it's true. I feel like as soon as you sort of have insight on your dreams, the devil on your shoulder tells you all of the reasons why you shouldn't and you can't. And I don't really have like a clear reason why I decided to push that fear away, but I think like actually getting into the craft of acting itself has helped me be more fearless in my life, because I've become more empathetic with just people in general through acting. And so I think that really just finding the craft of acting itself helped me to shed all of the things that was keeping me locked into my like mindset of fear. And now that I've like slowly but very surely started to shed that away, my the acting thing has grown, and my empathy has grown and my fear has lessened.
Well, and I think along the way, the other thing, Evan, that I've noticed even when I was prepping for this with you is the fan base that you have garnered. I mean, it's one thing to have, Claws have the fans that they do, but what has it been like for you to have your own fans, to have people going on your social media talking about how much they're rooting for you and excited for you?
It's so cool. It's so strange because it's so awesome to have complete strangers from all around the world respond to my work as an actor. It's really fun. I have a small fan base right now that are really, really into Toby and into Claus and into what I'm doing next and stuff. And so it's been really fun to just interact with them. It's been really cool. I've gotten a lot of young LGBTQ, especially a lot of gender nonconforming folks reach out to me on social media and let me know that they just really appreciate my willingness to be open about my own sexuality and about my own journey and everything, because it shows them that there's space for all of us. Representation really does matter.
Did you feel as though, for yourself, that also I have heard, I hear that more so probably from authors than actors, but sometimes how the experience itself can be kind of lonely because you're kind of in this bubble, right? Of creating something. When you hear comments like what you're hearing, though, Evan, does that make you feel as though you are not just in this for yourself, but that you are also showing other people by your example what's possible for them? Definitely.
It's really comforting to have people respond to your work in that way, because it sort of lets you know that this isn't just for me. I in the process of really like training as an actor and actually starting to get work, the more that I act, the more that I realize that it's my belief that acting is a service to society. If you're doing it for the right reasons, I believe that it is a service to society, because I think that the kinds of projects that I really want to work on in my career are the ones that really get people thinking about gender and sexuality and politics and the social structures that we have now that can sort of be questioned through the narratives that we see on film and television. And so if by really going for my dreams and playing parts that scare me and challenge me to inspire other artists or just other people to follow whatever their path may be in their dreams, that's awesome.
Right. For those who are just tuning in, either on the radio side or online, you're listening to Conversations Live. Excited to welcome Evan Daigle to our program today. Evan is celebrating another great year. He's a part of the talented cast that is Claus. We're going to remind you guys at the end of our segment how you can stay connected with him. We haven't talked much about Claus, Evan, because it is your first time on with us, and I want to definitely give our audience the backstory for those who are just now connecting with you. And as I said, we're going to share with them how they can continue to do this. Isn't it ironic, though? This is one of the things that I thought about, too, with you. You, as you mentioned, you're from Louisiana. You're on a show, of course, that was shot in Louisiana. What was that like for you to kind of come home, in a sense, and to be a part of something that was coming from Louisiana?
That's been, honestly, such an awesome coincidence about the show itself, because I've gotten to really connect with the local film and TV community in New Orleans, because I actually knew a lot of crew members before I started working on the show, just from auditioning and from working on smaller short films and stuff in the city. And the people in New Orleans love that Claws Films there. We go out and we love to take pictures and hang out with a lot of the fans and stuff. But it's been really great for me being there, being from Louisiana, because I get to go hang out with my family on the weekends whenever we have off and everything. It's been really cool.
Right. And I think, too, I'm such a proponent, Evan, for allowing people to know, again, that, where they're from matters, that they matter. And I think for you to be able to be a part of something that people are able to see, and then to know where it's coming from, to know where you came from, the hope that it gives people. We talked earlier about the courage. I want to talk to you about success, because success is not always even easy in itself to be able to embrace. What has that been like for you, and what's helped you to kind of embrace your success?
That's a good question. I think ever since Claws has happened, and I've started to gain what a lot of people think of as success, I've sort of had to start to think about what do I believe, what is the definition of success in my mind? What does success mean to me? Because it really is just there's no metric for success. We think we create all of these metrics for success in our heads, but who's to say who's the ultimate authority on who is or is not successful? So for me, it's really just judging what my goals are, and if I'm able to attain certain goals that I set for myself, in my mind, that's me being successful. But I also It's been sort of strange embracing, I guess, objective success in the entertainment industry, especially because I just feel like with the hyper social media conscious world that we live in right now, a lot of people sort of, especially in the beginning of my career, thought that I was way cooler and way far ahead and had way much more money than I actually did. So it really has gotten me thinking about the perception versus the reality of these artists and actors and musicians that we see on Instagram isn't always their reality and their everyday life. I'm still very much an aspiring up and coming actor. So for me, success is not something that I terribly worry about right now, but it's been interesting because it's been something that I've constantly sort of contemplated the redefinition of as this has gone on.
Yeah. Last thing I want to ask you about, Evan, then we're going to let our audience know, of course, how they can stay connected with the journey online. And, again, I appreciate this time. We talked about character, right? I mean, here you are bringing to life this character, Toby, for Claws. We talked about acting and your passion for that. What has it been like for you to become comfortable with you? Because, as you said, you are now able to inspire other people. But what has that been like for you to get to a place where you've been comfortable with who you are?
It's taken decades of being uncomfortable with who I am and realizing that the feeling that I've felt is just that, is the uncomfortableness with myself. Because I feel like a lot of times people will feel uncomfortable with the way that their lives are and who they are, but don't really fully let themselves realize that they are uncomfortable, that they have the ability to change their lives. So it really just took me the process, like I said, of finding acting and realizing that your perspective and your point of view as a person can change depending on you and your choices and your past. But you're not defined by your choices or your past unless you want to be. And so for me, it was really just realizing that you can be whoever you want to be. You can make your life whatever you want to make it, as long as you're willing to work for it. And so, honestly, I think that for me, it's really just been realizing that you have the ability to change your circumstance and change yourself if you want to.
There you go. And you're hearing it from someone who definitely knows firsthand. Again, everyone, Evan Daigle has been our guest. Great chat with you. Evan, make sure you guys are looking for Evan among other places on Claws. Make sure you guys check your local listings for that. And, Evan, how can our audience stay connected with you, man?
Sure thing. You guys can follow me on Instagram at Evan Daigle and on Twitter at Evan Daigle1.
Evan, congratulations to you again. Thank you so much for the time, and looking forward to our next chat together.
Thank you so much. We'll definitely do it again.
All right, and we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. If you all came in late, you missed part of the conversation with Evan, don't worry. Thanks to our online friends, you all can catch the replay right after we go off the air. The link is already available through our social media sites, so head over to facebook.com/CyrusWebb or go to twitter.com/CyrusWebb. If you click on the link there, you can listen to the show completely for free and share with your friends from there too. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Make sure you take out time to enjoy some good music as well as a great book. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live. Let's make it a great one.